Friday, January 10th, and this is now on HNN.
American lives were at risk.
A new report says Iran's top general wasn't the only U.S. target. I'm Skyler Henry at the White House with the latest on the tensions between Washington and Tehran.
Forecasters warn the state to prepare for more blustery, rainy conditions.
Britain's royal family is working to find common ground with Prince Harry and Meghan. I'm Gwen Baumgartner with how the Queen is responding to their plans to step down.
Stupid idea. Why leave the royal family after all this long?
These stories, and we'll tell you what Mark Wahlberg is doing in town. Coming up on This Is Now. Hey everyone, welcome to This Is Now. I'm Jonathan, alongside Lacey. Does it not feel like the longest week ever?
We were just talking about that. I think it's like the first full week back to work after the holidays.
It's finally wrapping up.
I didn't think I would make it through on Monday, but we're here.
We're here, and our Friday show, and we're going to start with something everyone's wondering about. Let's take a look outside. You know what? There is actually, this is sort of depressing because it's our first weekend since the holidays, and there's a real potential for some wet conditions out there, even a chance for thunderstorms. Let's get a check of exactly what we need to look out for. Here's Guy Hoggy.
How's it on this Aloha Friday? I'm Guy Hoggy with your HawaiiNewsNow.com forecast. The forecast is looking blustery. We've got very strong winds buffeting the state and roughing us up, and these winds are going to be here for the next several days. So for today, there's a wind advisory posted for most of the state, except for the corner side of the Big Island. All these shaded areas could get gusts upwards of 50 miles an hour, and that could lead to power outages, downed trees, maybe even some property damage. We also got a generous amount of rain moving into the east side of the state. That's why a flash flood watch is posted for Maui and for the Big Island until tomorrow night. There's also a more urgent flood advisory for the windward sides this morning for Maui and the Big Island because minor flooding is occurring. We could get more thunderstorms firing up. In addition to that, the winds have picked up a large swell rolling into east shore, so a high surf warning is posted in addition to the small craft advisory, as well as a gale warning for the waters between Maui and the Big Island. So we've got a generous amount of rain coming from this disturbance moving in, and another developing disturbance is due in over the weekend. So we're in for a long stretch of very wet weather, and those trade winds will be roughing us up as well. So get ready for that. We could see flooding conditions through the weekend with lots of cloud cover, not much in the way of sunshine. Possible thunderstorms today and tomorrow, easing up slightly, but still very wet through the middle part of next week. The winds finally easing up with slightly drier conditions on Wednesday. Keep it here on Hawaii News Now. We'll have all your severe weather update.
Thanks, Guy. Of course, we're going to keep track of any potential severe weather. Make sure you sign up for those alerts on our digital platforms, our app. You can get notified of any severe weather alerts that come in. But for now, let's switch to some developing news out of the Middle East. What's the latest, Lacey?
On the surface, tensions between the U.S. and Iran appear to be cooling down, but more information is coming out about the events of the past week. Skyler Henry has more details from the White House.
On the same day, a U.S. drone strike killed a top Iranian general in Iraq. The Washington Post reports another U.S. strike launched in Yemen, aimed at Abdul Reza Shalahi, a financier and key commander of Iran's elite Quds force, but it did not result in Shalahi's death. The State Department accuses Shalahi of masterminding assassinations of U.S. forces in Iraq.
Given Shalahi's track record of terrorism and destabilization in Iraq, we remain gravely concerned by his presence in Yemen.
The Trump administration insists the drone strike on the Iranian general was needed because he was planning an imminent attack on Americans.
This was going to happen, and American lives were at risk. And we would have been culpably negligent, as the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff said, we would have been culpably negligent had we not recommended to the president that he take this action in Qasem Soleimani. He made the right call, and America is safer as a result of that.
Iran launched more than a dozen missiles at Iraqi bases hosting American forces in retaliation for killing Qasem Soleimani. The U.S. responded Friday with more sanctions.
We are taking action against 8 senior Iranian officials who advanced the regime's destabilizing activity and were involved in Tuesday's ballistic missile strike.
The Trump administration says in the hours after that attack, an Iranian surface-to-air missile shot down a Ukrainian passenger jet, killing all 176 people on board. Skyler Henry, CBS News, the White House.
And House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says the White House will take steps next week to send articles of impeachment to the Senate for President Donald Trump's trial. In a letter Friday to her Democratic colleagues, Pelosi said she has asked the Judiciary Committee chairman to be prepared to bring to the floor next week a resolution to transmit the articles of impeachment to the Senate. House Democrats impeached Trump 3 weeks ago on charges of abuse and obstruction over his actions toward Ukraine.
All right, we got some news from here at home to get to, guys. We got the new, it's the Kupuna trials beginning on the Big Island there in Hilo, and we got Mahealani Richardson here to tell us exactly what's going on this morning. What can you tell us? What's been happening in that courtroom there?
Well, Jonathan and Lacey, the trials actually started today. There was, I don't know if you want to call it a false start last month.
Yeah,
it was
I remember
supposed to
that.
start,
Yeah.
but because the lawyers were arguing back and forth in terms of the process, they had to delay it until today. And so, there's 38 defendants, and what the court has decided to do is split them up into 8 different groups. So if you can imagine this, today the first group of 4 is going up. They start their trial, and then so for the next 8 weeks, every single Friday in Hilo Court, they're going to start their individual trials for their group.
And so you hear about this possible burden on the justice system with that many trials. Are you hearing that from officials or from protesters or defense attorneys? What are they telling you?
Well, I think everyone that I've talked to is really trying to wrap their heads around this, because this is truly unprecedented with this number of people. And so it's hard for me to kind of take, to keep track of all of these numbers. But if there's 8 different trials, and the defendants or the kupuna are now separated, but some of the kupuna are actually testifying in the other trials, plus all of the witnesses. So today in Hilo Court, we do know that both sides, both the Attorney General side and the defense side, they had their opening statements. We understand that Dan Dennison, who's a spokesman for the Department of Land and Natural Resources, took the stand. Ed Sniffen, who's the Deputy Director of Highways for the Department of Transportation, was also expected to take the stand, but for some reason he was not there in court, and that caused a bit of a ruckus in court today, and so the lawyers had to stop and have some meetings. We also know that Dr. Marie Alohalani Brown, she is one of those who was arrested. She's expected to take the stand. She's a University of Hawaii professor, and she will say that what she did by sitting there in the middle of the road in her chair with the other kupuna was not wrong, and what they were doing was right. The prosecution will say that what they did was illegally blocking the road.
And we do have one picture into our newsroom so far. We have a photographer there. There's still proceedings going on. Obviously, we're going to take in that feed later, and you're going to wrap it all up for us for 5 and 6. But I heard you talking in our morning meeting this morning about what is the defense these guys are using. What is the defense?
Well, there's several different defenses that they're going to be using, which they've brought up in past hearings. One, they say there's a jurisdictional issue. So the Mauna Kea access road where the arrest took place is actually Department of Hawaiian Homeland's property, but the asphalt is DOT property. And then there's questions of who actually executed the arrests and who was supposed to do the arrests. Who has even jurisdiction to be there? So there's jurisdictional issues. The defendants say that it is their religious right to be there, so they claim that the state was blocking them from practicing their religion, and that they're not the ones blocking the equipment for the 30-meter telescope.
Like I said, we have a photographer there in the courtroom right now as it's happening. He's going to get reaction when it ends, and then Mahealani is going to wrap it all up for you tonight at 5 and 6 here on HNN. Thanks for joining us for This Is Now. But right now, we need to get to some news regarding some more violent incidents happening here in town, right, Lacey?
Yesterday morning, there were 2 armed robberies within minutes of each other, just 2.5 miles apart. Our Allison Blair spoke to one of the victims in Waikiki, who said the gunman seemed nervous.
Cameras captured video of a van cruising the streets of Waikiki. Inside, witnesses estimate there were close to a half-dozen people on the hunt for their next victim. You could see a man exit the van, initially approaching a woman, before making a beeline towards a guy named Luis, walking his friend back to her hostel.
The guy started walking, turned his attention towards us. He looked like he was going to ask a question, but then I realized he quickly drew a gun and had it straight at her.
He managed to get the woman out of harm's way. Now he was the one staring down the barrel of a gun.
Just give me everything, give me all your money. I'm like, man, I kind of told him, I only got $20, but I'm not going to give you my wallet. I got my ID and stuff. And like trying to like keep tensions calm.
The gunman repeatedly swung at Luis's wallet as he attempted to hand over the cash.
The third struggle like that, he swung at me with a gun, hit me on the back of the head and on my side of my face. The gun fell to the ground. The guy seemed a little stunned.
Luis took out his cash and handed it to him before the gunman made his getaway in that waiting van. Police sources tell us that same vehicle may be connected to a second robbery that happened 15 minutes prior in McCully. Here at the corner of Phillip Street and Kalakaua, a man reported being held up about 12:30 this morning. Police sources say the victim described a similar van with a bunch of people in it, but this time the guy holding the gun was wearing a mask. The information wasn't a surprise to Luis.
From the other witnesses, I heard that the people inside the van, one of the individuals had a mask on.
Despite the swelling in his face, the 30-year-old was back at work today with this message for the people who robbed him.
You can get a better job than that. Your life's on the line, bro. You either get arrested, destroy the rest of your life, or get shot.
In Waikiki, Allison Blair, Hawaii News Now.
All right, we're going to get to some national headlines now. Actually, some positive news. Let's get you there. It's Friday, right?
It's Friday. NASA's new class of astronauts graduated today at Johnson Space Center in Houston. The astronauts could be assigned to missions to the International Space Station, the Moon, or eventually Mars. That's really cool. NASA expects to send the first woman to the Moon by 2024. The 11 NASA graduates were joined by 2 new Canadian Space Agency astronauts.
The next gen right there, guys.
Very cool.
Very cool. See where they end up. All right, moving on. We are still talking about those Royals, right?
I know.
They are
days after,
all over the headlines.
I know. Days after announcing plans to step back from the royal family, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex are apparently weathering the fallout separately on different sides of the pond. Gwen Baumgartner reports from Buckingham Palace.
British tabloid headlines read, Meghan flees to Canada and Queen fights to save monarchy. 2 days after, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle stunned the monarchy by announcing plans to distance themselves from the royal family.
Stupid idea. Why leave the royal family after all this long? So, I don't know. It's just hard to take in.
Queen Elizabeth has given royal staff just days to come up with a workable solution to Harry and Meghan's plans to step back. While the palace tries to figure things out, Meghan has returned to Canada, where she and Harry spent the holidays to join 8-month-old son Archie. Canadians seem to be welcoming.
I respect the fact that they're trying to make their own way in the world. They're a young couple. They're trying to do things differently.
Prince Harry has stayed behind in England, reportedly to work with his family on a plan going forward. One big issue to be sorted, money. The couple says they want to become financially independent. Currently, they get most of their income from Prince Charles. A small portion comes from the taxpayers.
People still love them. I think it'll work out, but it might take some time.
The Duke and Duchess of Sussex are also changing how they deal with the media, which they've often complained of being too intrusive. The couple launched a new website where they plan to communicate directly with the public. Gwen Baumgartner, CBS News, London.
Communicate directly with the public, so that means I can just get on and say,
I know.
Hey, Prince Harry, what's up? Let's
That'll
go
be
grab a
pretty
beer.
cool.
Yeah.
That'll be pretty cool.
Megan, what's up? All right, let's go to the Oscar news that's making headlines today. Again, another year. Something's going to be missing, folks.
The show will go on without anyone running it. That's the case for this year's Academy Awards. ABC Entertainment President Carrie Burke said the show will go on without a host again this year. Burke said the show will focus on what worked last year: huge entertainment, value, big musical numbers, big comedy, and star power. This is the second year in a row that nobody will be hosting the Oscars. Comedian Kevin Hart, he was originally announced as a host last year, but he backed away over controversial tweets. The 92nd Academy Awards will be handed out February 9th. Nominations will be announced Monday.
I don't know how I feel about this, because I think back of the glory days of hosting with Billy Crystal and Whoopi, and they did really put some great energy out there, and it really made the show. I remember them more than the winners.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because there's so many great entertainment, but when you think of the hosts and how they seamlessly tied everything together and their personality, that's what makes it fun.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
I'll have to watch and see, and then I'll pass on my judgment. All right. Let's move on. You guys had, again, they just keep coming on your couch in the morning.
How lucky are we?
Another big star.
Exactly. On Sunrise this morning, we had a big interview with Glee star Matthew Morrison.
Cool.
Billy V got a chance to speak with him.
You might remember Matthew Morrison with the wavy hair from Glee and other TV shows and movies, or from Broadway as an original cast member of Hairspray and other productions. But you probably didn't know he has his own albums, has several Hawaii connections. Welcome back.
Thank you, Billy V. Good to see you, man.
First of all, let's talk about family life. Your wife, Renee, is from Hawaii.
She's from Kailua. Yeah.
Kailua.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you've got Rebel, who's what, 2 years now?
Yeah, 2 years old.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So, how's dad life?
It's honestly changed my perspective of the world, of myself, of how I want to live and contribute and give back to community and family, and it is all about family. Every decision I make now becomes about how I can better serve my family.
When you were younger, as I understand it, you were a backup singer for Don Ho?
I was.
What is this?
I know. I was in high school, and I was in a song and dance troupe called the Kids Next Door from Orange County, California. And we came over here and sang backup for Don and Mr. Ho. And yeah, it was just a great experience. He kind of singled me out for a couple of numbers, asked me to come back, and it was just great to spend that much time here and really that's where I fell in love with the culture of Hawaii, for sure.
Well, not only that, but he seemed to see the talent early on.
I guess. You know? No, but he was such a kind man. I don't know he was kind. I always remember he had that big can of Pepsi or something. I don't know. I don't know what was really in it, but yeah, it was something. Yeah.
So him recognizing that in you when you were younger in school, is that kind of how you're paying it forward? Because you're now using as backup singers. You're in concert coming up tonight at Hawaii Theater. You're using Hawaii kids and giving them an opportunity to be backup for you.
You know, it really is, I guess. For me, it's all about what I can do for the next generation coming up. And I feel like where I grew up in the musical theater world, you know, it used to be back in the day where there was the dancing troupe and then there was the singing troupe. But now you have to do everything. You have to be a triple threat. And that's kind of where I came up and what I came up doing. So I'm excited to meet all these kids from I'm a Bright Kid Foundation and sing with them tonight. It's going to be a great concert tonight at the Hawaii Theater, which I love the historic nature of that theater, and I love finding out the history about the places I perform, and that place has such a great, rich history.
Okay, so tickets are still available for tonight, so go and get your tickets to see Matthew Morrison in concert. But I want to mention that, not only the concert, but you've got a brand new album coming out as well.
I do. Very exciting.
So the name of it's a partnership with Disney.
It's Disney Dreamin' with Matthew Morrison, and the impetus for the inspiration, I should say, was my son. You know, I listen to these classic Disney songs as a father now, and just like kind of reliving my own childhood through my son is really special, and just I had to pick 10 songs out of these classic Disney songs to perform, and it really was that was probably the most difficult part of the whole process, was picking which 10 I wanted to do.
Brand new album, brand new single. He's in concert tonight. He's got Hawaii people on stage with him.
Oh, and Loretta Obleser.
Oh, yes.
She's opening for me tonight. She played Bloody Mary when I did South Pacific on Broadway. Right. Hawaii native, just the loveliest woman. Yeah.
Very cool.
He is the sweetest.
Yeah, and you know what? I looked up that new single he was just talking about. It is out right now. It was just released a couple hours ago, so go download that album.
Yeah.
Not a single, whole album. And then, or check him out tonight at the theater.
Yeah, go and support him.
We got some more celebrity news, athletic celebrity news.
Exciting stuff.
Our own girl, Michelle Wie,
I
right?
know. So it looks like she's going to be taking a little bit longer to return to the LPGA Tour. The professional golfer and Punahou grad who announced in June that she was going on a break from the competitive sport to heal from an ongoing wrist and a hand injury. She'll be continuing her extended leave for a good reason. She's pregnant. Yesterday, we revealed on Instagram that she and her husband, Johnny West, are expecting their first child, a girl, due this summer.
And it looks like the baby already has a Nike deal.
So cute.
That's so cute.
I
it
think
really
she
is.
even has a photo with the little shoes, the little
Oh,
Nike shoes for the baby.
No way.
Pink. Love it.
Of course. All right, even more celebrity. You were excited about this one.
I was. Mark Wahlberg continues showing off Hawaii on his social media. The A-lister shared video on his Instagram of his workout at F45 Kahala. He was seen working out next to Michael Pena, who recently starred in 2 Ant-Man films.
Yeah, and he's been spotted at the Sony Open as well.
Yes.
Yeah, he's been there.
Mark Wahlberg, always in shape.
Very. I know, this workout's look intense. Seriously.
I know.
Seriously. We posted that story on our website, I believe, so check it out, folks. Now, I've enjoyed seeing all the stories we've done all week long from the Las Vegas Consumer Electronics Show. We have our last one today, a wrap-up, really. What can you tell us?
So it's a wrap-up of the new gadgets, crazy innovations, and a lot of robots. Karen Kaifa has been walking the aisles in Las Vegas all this week and has a look at what your morning might look like in the future with some of the show's most talked about items.
Oh, you're going to need this.
I know.
It has been quite a week here at CES, and as always, there have been those gadgets that are wacky and wild, but for the most part, there are a lot of items here that you could easily see integrating into your morning routine in the not so far off future.
For most of us, morning begins when coffee is poured.
Thank you very much.
And for those very specific about where that coffee comes from, this app from IBM uses blockchain to trace the beans from farmer to barista. For your morning run, ASIC showing a prototype of a smart shoe with built-in sensors to deliver real-time feedback, slated to debut later this year. After that workout, breakfast. Impossible Foods had CES goers lining up for a taste of its plant-based pork, which debuted at the show.
As we look at the global community, pork is the most ubiquitous meat in the world.
Thinking ahead to dinner tonight? Leave it to Julia. Cooking Pal's smart countertop unit finds recipes, orders groceries, cooks up ingredients, and cleans itself. Speaking of cleaning up, Kohler's Moxie showerhead has Amazon's Alexa built in, plus a Bluetooth speaker for morning podcasts or shower sing-alongs.
At 7-hour charge, you're going to run out of hot water before you'll run out of battery power. This is our
Their Numi smart toilet is completely hands-free with heated seats and mood lighting. And if you find yourself short-handed,
I've been telling you that robots do just about everything, and now here come my rolls.
Charmin's robot was designed to deliver with little droids controlled by your smartphone, which you may also use to hail this flying taxi by Hyundai as an Uber for your future morning commute.
And that partnership between Hyundai and Uber, they are trying to get that prototype in the skies by 2023. A lot of companies here at CES trying to reimagine the morning commute and transportation in general. Everyone from small scooter startups to the major automakers. At CES in Las Vegas, I'm Karen Kaifa.
For our podcast listeners, it was really hard to probably understand what she was talking about with the Charmin robot, but basically it's a little BB-8 that just, or R2-D2 that comes and gives you a roll of toilet paper.
If you run out.
Yeah, if you run out. Hey, BB, come over. I need another roll.
Yeah.
It was really cute, actually.
It's amazing. Technology is just amazing to me.
That shower head, too, that has a speaker built into
For
it.
7 hours, you'll run out of hot water before you run out of energy in the thing.
I would use it, definitely. I would just wonder about any like calcium buildup or something.
That's what I was thinking too.
The cleaning process.
And the germs, you gotta clean it.
Yeah.
But it's cool though.
I like the idea. Yeah. You got a traffic alert for us.
Yes, for our windward drivers, we did have some debris that was pushed up by the high surf, and it was blocking a portion of Kamehameha Highway right below Kualoa Ranch. But that has since reopened. It was closed for several hours.
Big chunk of the morning. You were talking about it all day on Sunrise.
Yes, and there was a lot of debris there. There was some rocks, some tree branches. So all is clear now. Kamehameha Highway fully reopened.
We're going to keep an eye on all of those conditions, weather conditions as well, along with the ocean conditions, all day long for you and all weekend long. All you have to do is download our special weather app. We'll send you alerts. You can get the latest forecast. And my favorite thing to do is to check out the radar. It has like basically street level radar. Cool. So you can just zoom right into your neighborhood and see what's going on. So check those out. We'll have more updates for you coming up this evening on our television newscast. And we're always updating you on our digital platforms. Until then, I gotta say goodbye.
Happy Friday, everyone.
Happy Friday. We made it. Bye, guys.